One of the things about social media that always amuses me is that it simplifies everything. That success is easy. It's just simple. Success is not easy in any industry. Law, medicine, media, entertainment, agriculture, manufacturing, sales. Success is hard. I bring this up because I hear all these people that want Josh McDaniels fired as head coach of the Raiders. On Twitter, coaching the Raiders is so easy. Do you realize the organization he inherited? Gruden fired, Mayock fired, Henry Ruggs killed a civilian, another first-round pick on Instagram showing guns, got rid of him. Of their first-round picks in the last 5-6 years, 4 are busts. 1's still around, but is a bust. Yeah, 4 were cut. 1's a bust around. The other one, Josh Jacobs, last year of his contract, they probably won't re-sign him. And then Josh McDaniels had to give up a first and a second round pick to make a big swing to get Devontae Adams at wide receiver. So he inherited a franchise with most of the talent on one side of the ball because of the draft whiffs, offense. And then 2 of the best players got hurt, Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. That said, the Raiders have only been blown out once. They lost close to the Chargers, overtime to the Cardinals, 24-22 to the Titans, 30-29 loss to the Chiefs at Kansas City, lost close to the Colts and Jags. 0-6 in one-possession games. You know who was bad in one-possession games last year? Minnesota. They're now 8-1. Those things tend to be kind of random. My point is, coaching at the NFL level is hard. We maybe have 8 great coaches in the league. You know who they are. Twitter makes everything seem so simple. It's not. Success doing anything takes work. Right? The Raiders are a poorly run organization that Josh McDaniel inherited in chaos. 6 close losses? Not terrible. That's not fireable. Take a deep breath before you claim running a bad company in 6 months from taking it over is easy. People say, well, Jeff Saturday went 1-0. Okay, it's one game. It's one game. Secondly, though they've had chaos in recent years, Irsay, Chris Ballard, Frank Reich, I don't consider the Colts a chaotic organization, at times impulsive from an ownership position, but the Colts has never been, in my recollection, last 20 years, a poor organization. Peyton Manning years were good. Andrew Luck years were good. Phillip Rivers made the playoffs. Carson Wentz had 27 touchdowns and 7 picks. They hire mostly good coaches, good general managers, Bill Polian, Chris Ballard. That's different. Josh McDaniels essentially inherited a bottom 5 franchise. Jeff Saturday has coached one game at a very mostly well-run franchise. Winning in this league doesn't come easy, and for bad organizations, it doesn't come quickly. I don't spend a lot of time talking about ratings. It's kind of an, inside the industry discussion, but the Cowboys-Packers got 29 million people on average watching that game. That is 3 times the average of an NBA Finals game. And I thought about that because I like the NBA. When I get off this podcast, I will jump on the treadmill and I will watch half of an East Coast NBA game. 4 or 5 times a week, I watch half of an NBA game. I like the league. I have since I was a kid. In fact, it may have been the first sport. Baseball was the first sport I fell in love with. Basketball was the first one. I started collecting cards, believe it or not. Football's the one I've graduated to. But as much as I like the NBA, I've always felt the media covers it more than it's probably earned. The NBA Finals will get a third of a regular season Cowboy-Packer game. Packers aren't even good. Cowboys aren't really a Super Bowl bubble team. It's interesting, right? I like the NBA a lot, but TNT's CEO the other day said, we can live without the NBA. You would never say that about the NFL. In Canada, you would never say that about hockey. In Europe, you would never say that about the English Premier League, right? Right? In England, the UK. Sometimes I think the media lacks a little self-awareness. I'm sure I'm guilty of this. We cover what we like more often than what the fans like. And NBA regular season basketball simply doesn't get a number. I watch it. I do my homework. I enjoy it. But if you go look at the NBA over the last 5 years, they have lost big chunks of their fan base. And right now, there is only one player in the league, believe it or not, one, Steph Curry, that consistently moves the television needle. LeBron no longer does. Laker games don't get big ratings, even in Los Angeles. Kevin Durant doesn't. Brooklyn Net games don't get big ratings in Brooklyn. In fact, last year, the second highest rated NBA team in a local market was the Cleveland Cavaliers, mostly starless, unless you count Evan Mobley as a big star. Steph Curry's it. One guy moves the needles. Flashy, fun, three-point artist on a great team, leader of a dynasty. That's it. I watch the coverage of the NBA, and I like it, and I'm guilty, but it far exceeds, in my opinion, the interest of the NBA. I think the Warriors are very, very interesting. I think there's 4 or 5 franchises, Boston, Golden State at the top of that list, that are interesting. But when you see that number for an NFL regular season game, and it's not even a good Packer team, I mean, they're on a losing streak entering that game, it tells you what the consumer's truly interested in.